What if Naruto had a Fox Sage mode? A series where I take the concept of Sage modes and how they're created, not for Naruto to obtain one, but create one himself. In a world where foxes are similar to summoning beasts and not necessarily connected to the Kyuubi or the Nine Tails, but still model their fighting styles and jutsu styles after him. What if Naruto had created a Sage mode and was raised between these animals? That's what we'll be going over today. My name is sixmysta and welcome to the Mysta Clan. Now, without wasting your time any further, here you have part 3 of What If Naruto had a Fox Sage mode. Last time on Naruto having a Fox Sage mode, Naruto and his fox friend Kyuubi had graduated from the academy and had finished the Genin exam. Really quickly, Kakashi had realized that they far outmatched Sasuke and could probably compare it to himself. He doesn't know what type of training the two had done to get this powerful, but he is curious to see more. So he would like to use them in experiments going forward, or at least in ninjutsu and training experiments. On the other hand, now we see Naruto and Kyuubi back at the Fox compound or the Fox village, faced with Kyuubi's father, Kyuton. Kyuton would tell them that this is the day they need to fight. They need to see their nobility rankings within that of their members. Obviously, Naruto at this point had become an honorary member, and everyone within the Fox village had grown attached to him, liked him, seen him as family. So, when he is presented with the opportunity, he will also combat in this competition. The 10 members of which this consists is Naruto, Kyuubi, and some filler foxes, or what I'm going to call filler foxes. They would all go into a combatant situation where they would all fight against each other. Within this time, we learn of the training Naruto and Kyuubi had done. Everyone is required to be within their fox form, so Naruto would also have to transform into a fox. We start off pretty simple battles with Naruto and Kyuubi both handling their fights, most likely with taijutsu with slight ninjutsu enhancements. And as the fights progress, they get slightly more difficult, with them showing off some chakra enhancement like the wind claws and the lightning movement, but nothing too intense until they're finally faced with each other. Kyuubi would actually give up on her fight with Naruto, but would be pressured by the crowd to actually do it. Naruto, on the other hand, hasn't had a proper fight with Kyuubi ever. They'd only have spars, and neither of them had ever gone all out. So, what would end up happening is they'd be put against each other. They, at the start, had similar fighting styles, but Naruto had changed his to follow more the path of movement in power. So, he'd use his movement to create giant force blows. While Kyuubi, on the other hand, would maneuver around blows and then land agile hits to slowly wear the opponent down. And this would put their fight on another level since taijutsu wasn't really getting them anywhere. So what they then moved on to was ninjutsu. They had actually concocted a jutsu, or not concocted, but learnt a jutsu from Kyuton, which he had modeled after the Nine Tails himself. It was a jutsu similar to a Bijudama or a tailed beast bomb. It used pure chakra, of course, and it created this sphere of spinning chakra in front of your mouth. And as you would release it, it would start expanding, creating a small explosion vortex against the thing it hits. This is obviously a lot similar to the Rasengan in the sense that the Rasengan was also based on the Bijudama or tailed beast bomb. So when Naruto and Kyuubi had learned this, it instantaneously became one of the strongest things within their arsenal. On top of that, they had mastered solid clones or shadow clones, and theirs was a little different. They're what I like to call fur clones. I got this idea from obviously the Jackie Chan Monkey King movie, where he had been able to make clones of himself through his hair. And it was basically the same. Fragments of them created from their hair, slightly weaker, that could either look different and have their own sentience or be exactly the same, with only the drawback of them being about half the strength. This was obviously the perfect clone technique, but they couldn't do too many of these at the same time, since it would wear down on them mentally and would take some of their chakra reserves, which they can't regain until that clone is dispersed. So, when it comes down to it, we have them throwing Rasengans at each other, or fox bombs as I will be calling them, at each other, enhancing them with elements. They had gotten some training with Kakashi as the time had gone by. It had been about a month. He had tried training them to use the Chidori. Basically, the training was not for them to gain speed or gain control of their lightning element, but for them to channel the lightning throughout their body and then expelling as much as possible through their hand. Kyuubi had learned how to channel the lightning through her nails, basically creating a scratch that could paralyze the opponent. Naruto, on the other hand, could wield the lightning into some sort of sword, some would say a blade, and would use it to swiftly slash at his opponents, doing interior damage. Obviously being chakra that wasn't physically slicing through them, giving both of them their own versions of it. But Kyuubi and Naruto separately had progressed their versions of the Fox Bomb, with Kyuubi adding the lightning element and Naruto adding the wind element. When these two clash, it would basically send a shockwave throughout the arena, with Naruto and Kyuubi both taking the full force of both blows, meaning they had taken a lot of residual damage. On the other hand, at this point, they'd be stopped as of the fight, and they would both be tied for the first place, as they had caused a lot of ruckus and could cause some village guards to come. And out of Genin from the Fox Village, or youngings as they would call them, these two had clearly been the most powerful, so they would be given the royalty standard of nobility, or at least the clan leaders of the next generation, if you will. But on the other hand, as I said, they had trained with Kakashi to obtain different versions of the lightning blade, and he himself had started changing his. He had started creating a weaker version that didn't use the speed amp, and for some reason the coloration would change when he would add different amounts of chakra, creating a purple glow after about a month of experimentation. So he could use it without it draining even half the chakra and not causing the blinding effect, which means he can use it without his Sharingan. But this would have to wait, since Team 7 would have their first C rank mission. Up until this point, they had handled 5 separate D ranks, one being babysitting, one being dog sitting, another being pulling wheat from a farm, and another taking documents from one library to another. The last would have just been to make Hiruzen some coffee. So now that we're presented with it, and Kakashi feels his team ready after Sasuke had progressed a lot, and in his thoughts, having caught up with Naruto and obviously Kyuubi, and even having unlocked his first tomo of his Sharingan. This took Kakashi a long and grueling effort to put Sasuke through countless death experiences, but not until he took Sasuke out on one of his missions, and Sasuke was nearly killed by a mere bandit, had he unlocked his Sharingan, or his first Tomo Sharingan. Kakashi, on the other hand, had used this to his advantage. He could now start training Sasuke to use the lightning blade, which he did. In doing so, he had neglected the Tomo of the Sharingan completely, forgetting that improving one's Sharingan would not only improve one's visual prowess, but one's abilities as a whole, and might have given Sasuke an even bigger upper edge. But I digress. Let us return to the mission. Team 7 would be presented by Tazuna, an old man from the land of waves. He was drunk at the time and was quick to insult the team. First, he'd start off with Sasuke, but as he looked over to Naruto and Kyu, who had chakra enhanced their glaze and had spiked their killing intent. To anyone who wasn't a chakra user, this would be menacing, to say the very least. Killer, in another sense. He had felt like they were feral beasts coming out to hunt him. And he would be quickly to compliment them, and even Kakashi, to try and be in favor of at least some of these, having quickly sobered up. Kakashi would instruct the team to meet at the Leaf Village gate in approximately an hour, with Naruto and Kyu returning to the Fox Village just to let them know of this, and would then go out. But I will be saving that for the next part, guys. I really do hope y'all did enjoy. But this has been your boy Six. I really do hope y'all enjoyed. This video was edited by our boy Steak. The thumbnail was made by our boy Ray the Otsutsuki, and our intros and outros were created by the Dragon Lord. If you have not yet, check out all my social medias, from Instagram to Twitter to TikTok, and I even do have a Discord where I am fairly active. So if you have not yet, I do suggest you going to the description and joining that. And yeah, without further ado, roll that beautiful outro.
1, 2, 3, let's go!
Subscribe for more.
Yada yada does it.
Shout out to Jaquan Jones and Pop Hop for becoming clan members. And a special shout out to the second tier clan members, aka the Clan Warriors, Sam Cross, Avery Swearingen, Gavin Weedle, and Nick Main 98.
And hey, if you want to become a member, scroll down from the video and click the join button, or alternatively scroll down to this link. Members get videos anywhere from 24 hours to a week early.